Tell them about when you rang the bell, dear.
Well, if you must, we'll tell the story. Well, the bell you see right here came out of the Lord's barn. Now, the Lord's barn started with a congregation in 1830. Well, they had just a small place that they met at Peter Felt's cabin at 4th and Main, I think that was. But soon, in 1834, they built a larger called the Lord's barn, and that's where they held their services. Well, shortly after that, the women had a fundraiser and they got a bell. Well, the bell came up on a steamship with a lot of bells for schools and churches and steamships, and it came all the way from Massachusetts. Well, they put the bell up outside because they didn't have a belfry. But they ran a cord inside and they were able to ring that bell right from the inside. Well, a few years later, they actually built a real church over at 5th and Jersey. And that congregational church had a belfry and a steeple, and they were able to put that bell up there, and it rang for many occasions. I think the most prominent occasion that I can remember was when we rang it right after Fort Sumter fell. Well, that was a big story, and we were downtown at the shoe store, Mr. Stone's shoe store, and the fellow from the Western Union came in, told us that Fort Sumter had fallen and it looked like there would be a war. So Mr. Bull said, "You got to go ring the bell." So we came over here and rang the bell, but to ring the bell we had a young man named William Shipley. Now he was the adopted son of Eliza and Orville Browning, our good friends. Unfortunately, within a year, Mr. Shipley joined the Union Army, and he would be the first casualty of the Civil War from Quincy. He died at the Battle of Belmont, and that was a sad day for us. Well, a few years later, we rang the bell again, and that's when General Grant had Robert E. Lee by the nape of the neck. He did give up, and so we rang the bell to tell the town that the Civil War was over. Well, unfortunately, you remember just a week later, our good friend Abraham Lincoln was killed in an assassination, and we again rang the bell. I was with Mr. Stone and his young son, Eldridge, and Mr. Bull said to me again, "John, you have to ring the bell." And I said, "Let's let Eldridge ring the bell. He'll remember this much more than we will, and for a much longer time." And so Eldridge rang the bell, and we told the town of the assassination of our good friend, President Lincoln. Well, the bell passed through, and a couple more families who bought the area of the church, and in 1908, it came here, and it's been hanging here on the mansion ever since. Before that, we did have it in the relic room down at the public library, but I like it here better. Don't you, dear?
I do.